ready?
Everybody ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right, really good competition Tuesday, man. Great weather again. Thank the good Lord for that. Saw some really good stuff, improving. Saw some good stuff on the tape the other night. You know, a lot of young kids got to play and really improved. I thought our quarterbacks had 2 great days. I know you're going to ask me about that, but I thought both of them really probably had their 2 sharpest practice collectively. You can see the growth in them right there. We got to continue to improve. Got some great kickoff cover work today. Also got some great punt work. And what a huge week this is for our program. You know, this game matters so much to so many people. I think we played every year from 79 to 06. And, of course, we had the break through conference realignment. And now both administrations have got us back together, and we should be back together, playing for a trophy for the Bell, which is huge. We've done a great job explaining that to our players. Tulane's got a two-game winning streak. And, you know, we'll have to put our best foot forward because they are a great team. Probably the best football team we've played. Definitely the best tackling team we've played. Definitely the best team in terms of effort and intensity and the way in which they play. And we got great respect for their program. They got a great quarterback. He's definitely the best quarterback we've played. So, you know, they're a really good football team. So with that, I'll open it up.
What do they do well defensively?
They play as hard as you can possibly play, and they tackle. They miss very few tackles. They played the running back at Kansas State this past week, who's a great player, and they tackled him every time. I mean, they swarm to the ball and tackle. Chris Hampton's their DC. He's a good friend of mine. I got great respect for him. And just the way they run their program, they're in year 7, and you can see the fruits of that. I mean, they all play with that tenacity that Willie Fritz brings every day, you know, and they're fun to watch. Very similar to how we play on defense. You know what I mean? They play extremely hard and they tackle. You know.
Talk about Michael Pratt. I mean, this was his coming out party here,
Mm-hmm.
and you helped Pratt and gave Southern Miss one of his worst losses in school history.
Yeah, so I love Michael Pratt, all right? And it's kind of hard for me to talk about because I really love him. My wife loves him. My kids love him. He's like a son to me and always will be. And I am so proud of how he's developed. I'm so proud of what he's becoming. And, boy, he's a good player, man. He's a tough guy. And I love that guy. I do. I love him. And but I'm trying to kick his butt this week. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's trying to kick mine. I know that. But I can't say anything but great things about him. If my 2 sons grow up to be like Michael Pratt, I will have been a winner. You know, so.
Similar question. I mean, can you talk about your relationship with Willie Fritz going up against the former boss?
Yeah, I love Willie Fritz. You know what I'm saying? And Pete, my youngest son, Coach Fritz is like a grandfather to him. Coach Fritz saved my career when I had made the D1 transition and was really down on the profession. He brought me in, and getting to work for him showed me that you could win and succeed in this profession and still be a good person, which I always believed in my heart, but you don't see that a lot in this profession anymore. And he does things the right way, and I'm so happy that they're off to a 3-0 start. Again, man, they're trying to kick our butt, and we're trying to kick theirs this weekend. You know, so.
Will, do you see any, I guess, early stage similarities between the offense that you had there and the one that you're trying to build now?
Yeah, and not just Tulane, but throughout the years. You know, I mean, the 2013 West Alabama offense was the greatest offense in Gulf South Conference history. You know, when Coach Greg and Coach Lindsey and I were there, I see a lot more similarities to that offense because we had 2 wideouts that went on. One played in the NFL for 7 years. We had some great backs that were smaller but really dynamic, like Frank. So we built that offense over a 3-year period to where we won 2 conference titles and broke every record in school history. And we had 2 quarterbacks that could play that are both coaches now and doing great. One's the OC at Foley High School, and the other one's the head coach at Elmore County. They're really smart. So I see a lot of they both played as freshmen. So I see more similarities with that group than I did the Tulane group. But you know, we're building it much like we did there at Tulane, you know.
Coach, can you talk a little about the recipe defensively against y'all's kind of been a stack box and brackets on Brownlee a lot?
Yeah, you know, yeah. So, you know, we have a reputation for running the football. Coach Greg and I, you know, we've led the conference in rushing several years everywhere we've been. And we know people are going to try to take the run away. We're all so young at quarterback, so it makes sense to try to do that. But we've thrown the ball well. You know, we threw it well, extremely well for a half at Miami. We threw it for 400 yards last week. So we got good skill kids. We're improving in the passing game. And we feel like we're on our way to being, you know, a balanced attack that can take what the defense gives us. This will be a great challenge this week. This is the best defense we've played, you know, and they're like the 85 Bears, man. They've only give up 20 points in 3 games. So, I mean, like, they're really good.
Coach, were you surprised about their victory over Kansas State?
Not really, because, you know, Coach Fritz has built that thing. We were so close, you know, for so many years. And now he's got them all. But, like those kids that are playing on offense, they've been starting for 3 years. You look at Deuce Watts, Joey Claybrook, Sincere Haynesworth, Tyreek James, Jaquan Jackson, Michael Pratt, Tajay Spears. Like those guys have 3 to 5 years starting experience. So they're playing at a high level, and they've played with each other for so long. Then defensively, all those kids have been playing and starting. For Macon Clark's a 4-year starter. Darius Hodges, 3-year starter. Larry Brooks, 4 and 5-year starter. So like they're playing with guys that understand what Coach Fritz wants and have played a lot of football, and they're talented. So, man, they're playing at a high level, and we knew they were going to be a really good football team this year.
And are you surprised by the dynamic that Coach Svoboda has brought to the team as well?
Yeah, I don't know him that well, but I know Willie Fritz and the culture that he demands. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to take care of the football. They're going to find a way to run the football, and they got really good players. And Coach Svoboda, they're doing a great job.
Is this the perfect storm? I mean, you coming back, obviously former, offensive coordinator there, Southern Miss, a great win. They're 3-0. Is this like the perfect storm?
I guess it depends on what kind of storms you like. You know what I mean? If you like these kind of storms, then yeah. I'll tell you about 9:30 or 10 o'clock Saturday if I like it or not. Yeah.
You had a game to start the season against Liberty with a staff that you were very familiar with. Obviously, kind of a similar situation.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything from that you can take in here?
I don't know. I've had to do it a bunch of times. When you were in D2, you would play a team twice in a year a lot of times. You'd play them in the regular season and play them again in the playoffs. So we've had a lot of experience with that with our staff. I truly love Willie Fritz, and Slade Nagel's a dear friend of mine. So is Chris Hampton and J.J. McCleskey and Fabian Upshaw. I know a lot of those kids. I recruited them, so that makes it a little different. But man, once you kick it off, I left West Alabama and went to West Georgia, so I've had to do that before, where I've coached against kids I recruited and loved. Man, you just do it. You do your job. You got an obligation and responsibility to everybody that's under you at this time to do your job. So we're pouring everything we got into it. But I do think a lot of Tulane's program and their people.
So I think you mentioned last time, that those games tend to come down to execution, I guess, just because schematically.
No
do
doubt.
You feel the same way about this one?
Yeah, I think people put more into knowing each other than what really is, because, like let's just say they know all our signals and we know all theirs. Well, we would still have to get their signal and relay it to the players on the field, and then they would have to know what the heck we were talking about, and still so you still got to call your play and execute your play. You know what I mean? So the kids still have to play the game. You got to put them in the best position to win.
Well, when you say Willie Fritz saved your career, you came from Memphis and then went to Tulane. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I was a D2 head coach and had been really successful and wanted to coach Division I, and had jumped into a situation where we got fired in 10 months, and then we went to Memphis, and just really the whole D1 experience had not been the best of the best experiences until I got with him. And that's no knock on anything, it's just how it was. And I was really thinking about going back to D2 and doing my thing at D2, because that's what I was. I was a D2 guy. And the way you can treat people at Division II and do things is so much better than Division I, or I thought it was at that time. After I got with Coach Fritz, I realized, man, you can do it the same. You don't have to do it different. And so it was a great experience for me.
Did you notice a different jolt of energy with your team this morning after coming off the win?
I tell you what, man, one thing about our kids, they work, they seize every moment. I don't know, y'all were there. I thought we practiced like our tails off last Tuesday. You know what I mean? So I think our kids are really working to get better and understand the mountain we're trying to get over with this program.
I wonder if you talked to Coach Fritz at all last season when you first starting out as a head coach here at Division I. How much did you lean on him?
We talk a lot. Jeff Conway retired last year. Me and my wife went down there for his retirement party and had a large time. I think a lot of his wife, Miss Susan, his son, Wes Fritz, is a dear friend of mine who's their personnel guy. I got the utmost respect for Wes. Me and him communicate all the time about recruits and kids and what we think, because I have a deep respect for him. So me and Coach Fritz talk all the time. We never go a month without talking, and there's a lot of times during the summer stuff we'll talk once a week. It's not always about football and things. We believe in the same way to treat people. We believe there is truly a right way and a wrong way of doing things, and you never sacrifice that just because of an immediate gratification. You know, you've got to take the right way to do it because that's what wins out in the long term.
Coach, when you think about the Sun Belt, you think about the recent wins from Georgia Southern and App State and Marshall and whatnot. That was Southern Miss's MO for 2 decades.
Yeah.
How close do you feel that Southern Miss is to getting back to its heyday?
Well, we're getting closer every day. I don't know how close we are. You know, this would be a big one this week. You know, I know we're talented. I know we're young. I know we're a lot like Tulane was a few years ago. You know, when you look at their kids, they've all played 3 and 5 years together. That's kind of what we're going to be in another year and another year after that. We do have talent. We are doing things the right way. We've got to get it back faster than we are right now, and we're pushing towards that every day. The only way to eat elephant's one bite at a time. You know, we took another bite out of it today.
One more question for Coach. I was just going to ask you about Michael Pratt, and obviously, you know, when you were coaching him, how much different does he look now as a player now that he's been doing it a few years? And what are you seeing on tape that really that you've seen him kind of grow over the last couple of years?
You know, you can tell he's gotten bigger and stronger, which all kids do as they get older, and that's the deal. You know, just maturation from a young man into a man. You can see the thing that Michael does so special is Michael's a magic man. Like you could drop him off in a foreign country where he can't speak the language. You could come back in 3 weeks and he'd have 40 friends and people would be following him. Like he is just a natural people person. He's a Pied Piper, and I think the world of him. I love him. Love him and his family.